Hi all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, whatever the time might be for you. I think we can start. Some people are still arriving. So I'm very happy to welcome you today and in this meeting dedicated to early careers and professionals in several networks that we'll be presenting today. My name is Evgenia Kostanaya. I'm the global coordinator of one of those networks for early careers and professionals under the UN Ocean Decade, and I will be your moderator for today. So this session will be recorded, and you'll be able to share the recording with your colleagues and friends afterwards, and it will be displayed on our YouTube channel in a few days after the session. We are happy to be discussing today the opportunities and resources for early careers and professionals that three different networks have and provide for early careers and professionals. So we are having today representatives of three great different networks, such as the International Association for the Physical Sciences of the Oceans, the Oceanic Engineering Society of the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. So myself, I represent the ECOP program, so the Program for Early Careers and Professionals endorsed action under the UN Ocean Decade. So UN Decade for Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and we are all gathered under the umbrella of Future Earth Early Career Researchers Network of networks. I think we can just jump in the presentations, and after each of us presents our networks and the opportunities that we provide for early careers and professionals, we will discuss some funding opportunities, and we can discuss, we will open the floor and we can discuss what we can do together, what synergies we see together, and how we can cooperate in an efficient manner. So the first on our list to present is Arijit Paul, who represents the University of Graz, and he's the chair of the Early Career Researchers Network of Networks under Future Earth. And he's postdoc with research interests at the intersection of business, ethics, and climate change. And I think Arijit can also talk about the whole idea behind this webinar, because this is thanks to his efforts that we are all gathered here in this webinar as well. So Arijit, I'm very happy to have you here today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And I see I can already share my screen. So that's nice. And,
yeah, all good.
Yes, great. Thanks a lot, Evgenia, and welcome you all. I'm probably the only non-ocean scientist giving you a presentation among the ocean scientists, but you will soon know that why I'm doing that. So as Evgenia mentioned, that Early Career Researchers Network of Network, we are a network of 28 early career networks, and we are a Future Earth entity. Those of you who doesn't know about Future Earth or not familiar with this organization, briefly, it's a transdisciplinary research collaboration network, a global one, and it tries to kind of bridge between science and policy, and tries to position itself as the umbrella organization for sustainability scientists all over the world. And within that Future Earth umbrella, Early Career Research Network of Network is one of the Future Earth entity. There are also several other global research network as Future Earth entity, But if you want to know more about Future Art, you can, of course, just Google Future Art and you will find all the information there. And as far as ECR non goes, some of the key activities that we do are ECR dialogues. For example, the one that we are going to do or right now already doing is to promote dialogue between diverse early career research networks so that they can come together, interact, and try to work together and find collaboration opportunities. And we also do capacity building workshops. For example, last year we did a science to communication workshop in a hybrid mode in Sarajevo. So people also joined in person and also virtually. We also try to identify funding opportunities for early career researchers. Two of the funding opportunities I will just shortly show you. And we also have a newsletter where all these diverse networks can basically share their news, and that kind of goes out to the broader all networks. So this year we already did one early career dialogue with IUCN, which is International Union for Conservation of Nature. They have a early career law professional network, and we organized a dialogue on climate justice. And today's webinar is the second such dialogue we are doing this year. And now briefly, I will talk about these funding opportunities from Future Art. This cross-cutting initiative is a project funding possibility. So the key requirements are that more than one network, so at least two different network. This could be two-member network from the ECR non. They develop a trans or interdisciplinary idea on which they want to work together. And this application can be for up to 50,000 euro. That's the maximum limit for this funding. And every year, the applications are accepted twice. So the 31st March deadline has already passed, but the next deadline would be 30th September. So today's webinar could be an opportunity for just discussing potential projects that you might want to develop together for submitting an application. So that is one idea. Then the next opportunity is this is an individual grant. Again, individual members from the Early Career Research Network will be eligible for applying for these grants. These are travel grants to attend sustainability events and programs. And these applications are accepted on a rolling basis. But there is a timeline, like at least 90 days prior to the date of the event, you must submit your application. And these links are, of course, you can go and find more information. Yeah, I will keep it short basically, because today is really about you guys discussing what you can do together. And feel free to contact me. These are my contact details. Yeah, I think I would stop here. I will post a link to a Google document where you can post if you have specific question related to the funding. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer all of them, but I can also go back to Future Art with those questions. If I can collect them all together, and we can either discuss that through another webinar or provide the answers through email. So yeah, I think that's it from my end. Do we take any questions right now, or is it for later, Evgenia?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we can listen to all like full presentations.
That's fine.
And
Yeah,
we have,
sure.
Yeah, time for all the questions from the audience then. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think these two opportunities for funding are really very interesting, and we can definitely discuss that. And as Arijit said, if you have any specific questions, he will then convey those if he can't answer these today. So I think in order to kind of get to know each other better and understand what synergies we can work on for those for the funding opportunity for networks to apply, I think yeah, those presentations would be really very useful to know better what each of the other networks is doing. So then, yeah, Arjun, thank you so much. And I think then next we will get to know opportunities provided by the International Association for the Physical Sciences of the Oceans. And I would like to welcome Marina Zanel, a physical oceanographer with research interest in tropical air-sea interaction from University of East Anglia, who will talk about her network. Marina, happy to have you here today, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Virginia. Sorry. Am I still sharing? No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Yeah. No, you are.
Yeah, I'm still sharing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't showing for me. Thank you. Okay. So thank you, Virginia, for the introduction. And it's really great to have you all here today. I'm Marina Zanel. I'm a member of the IAPSO Early Career Scientists Working Group. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our network today. So, okay. So I'm going to explain a little bit about who we are, what are our objectives, and how we're working towards achieving them. But just a little bit of an introduction. Our working group started in 2018. It's reasonably young. Initiated with Alejandro Sanchez and Marlene Oderlin. They were selected by the IAPSO Executive Committee, and they, after being selected, then they recruited 9 other international early career scientists from the fields of physical and chemical oceanography from all over the world. And then they started this working group. And their first event was at the IUDD Assembly in Montreal in 2019, where they had some really nice social event to get from people what they wanted from us, basically from our network. And since then, our committee has changed a little bit. So Ali, for example, she left and she's now part of the executive committee. But we still work as having like 1 chair, which is Marlene, 1 co-chair, and then 8 other researchers from several different groups from all over the world. And so we work together to make this happen. And my job specifically in our committee is to connect, basically, to do this, is to reach out to other networks to be able to expand our activities. So what are our objectives as a working group? So first of all, we want to build a community of and for early careers in the fields of chemical and physical oceanography. So our intention is to build a strong network of early careers so we can share opportunities, jobs, news, also advice on the challenges that we have in our career stage, and also scientific expertise. So you want this network to be strong enough so we can share all of this information among us. It's also very important that we promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in our events, in our community. So we actively work towards promoting this diversity whenever it's possible, and also to create awareness of the gaps, challenges, and discrimination as well that still exist in our scientific community. We try to connect with our organizations so we can do this sort of maximize our impact and do things together. So we try to liaise with other national and international networks. And our intention is also to liaise with the executive committee from the IAPSO executive committee. So we want to provide the advice from our early career perspective to the executive committee so they can take that into their action. And then we also bring their agenda back to our members so we can have this sort of conversation. And we also intend to organize events. So we have, for example, our biannual IAPSO assemblies, and we run events for early careers that will include mentoring, outreach activities, and also network between early careers and senior researchers. So those are our objectives. And how we are achieving those, to start with, we have our website. So there, where our main goal is to basically announce opportunities. So whatever we find useful for our community, we try to put there. So you're gonna find job postings from different areas of oceanography. You can find as well things to improve your career-wise. So you're gonna find fellowships, cruise opportunities, for example. We try to post there, and we also share educational resources, for example. There we find some videos and anything that we think is going to be useful for our community, you can find there. We also have our quarterly newsletter. So you're going to find in there articles from the community, blog spots, bulletin board. So a lot of really nice information, and it's really nicely done. This, for example, is the front page of our special issue for the World Oceans Day 2021. And this year we are also running a special issue that will showcase oceanographers that have basically worked at very different ocean basins, so that they have gone from, for example, Indian Ocean to the Arctic, to kind of show how transferable these skills are and the differences as well, and to show a bit of the different journeys that you can have within oceanography. So yeah, so you can have access to that if you're a sign up for our mailing list. So we try to connect with people through our mailing list. So you can go to our website and sign up and get all this material. And we also have our social media. So you have our Twitter account and our brand new LinkedIn profile as well. So we put there all of our opportunities, most of them that are on the website, and you can know all about what we are doing. So that's all of this is towards connecting, right? So we try to approach this in many different ways. So in terms of international early careers community, we are always trying to run events to make this happen. So I told you about Montreal, and this year in the IUDD assembly, we are also running a really nice early career event that is a joint event. So we are working together with other networks under other early career networks under the IUDD umbrella, and we are having this whole like social event that tries to connect and build bridges within through all of different networks. And we also
sorry, Marina, I think well, at least for me the slides are not moving. Now how for the others, can you maybe try like again share these slides, because for me it's still on the first cover slide for me.
Really? Oh.
Yeah,
that's why I'm trying to see the just a second, sorry.
Or if you want, I can share it from my side if you want, or you can try from yours. Yeah.
Yeah, can you see now?
Yeah, it's how are we achieving these objectives?
Yeah. Oh, that's really sad. Yeah, anyway, sorry guys. So unfortunately it didn't see most of these things. But yes, so I was just talking a little bit about our social media and our Twitter account and our LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so if you guys all missed, but this is our website. This is where you're gonna find about jobs, fellowships, educational resources, and this is our quarterly newsletter. And this is basically our social media. It's really upsetting that I didn't show things before. Anyway, so in terms of connecting, that's where it stopped. We have also worked to contribute, for example, for the IPCC report review. So we created this group review, which is something that probably you and me as individuals wouldn't have done, but as a group, they contributed to this review. We also had the early careers, a set of early career community review as well of the implementation plan of the UN Decade of the Ocean. And we have also then worked in our events on our daily basis to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion. So it is the first time, for example, that the executive committee has an early career representative, so we can put our ideas forward. And in our events, so we actively participate in planning all the events that we have, and in this way we implemented, for example, having early careers in the science sessions at our events, so we can have people, we can be actively participating on the sessions. And we also implemented, for example, the pronoun badges. So all of these are actions that we are taking towards putting our goals and reaching our goals. So basically what we hope is that our activities and our efforts will have a difference, make a difference in the impacts that IAPSO has within our community. That's our main goal. And so all of this is about connection and knowing what people need from us. So you can connect with us through our website, our social media channels, our Twitter, LinkedIn, our email list as well. So once you join, you're going to get all the information about events, opportunities, resources, but we also want to hear from you. We also want your feedback, your ideas, so we can know better what we can do for you as well. And yes, and that's why we are here, so we can work together, build these bridges and reach more people and make things work for our community. So yeah, thank you. And I'm really sorry about the whole sharing problem.
No worries, Marina. Thank you so much. I think you did a great job, and the presentation was really very helpful in understanding what the network is doing. So no worries at all. I think if there are any questions, then these can be asked after the next two presentations, and if there are any questions, I'm sure everything will be answered. So thank you so much. That's really interesting because it really coincides a lot with what we are doing at the ECOP program. So I already see a lot of opportunities for synergies. So with this in mind, we will then move to our second network. So the Oceanic Engineering Society of the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, or IEEE, and Rajat Mishra, a research fellow at the Acoustic Research Lab at the National University of Singapore, will be talking about the opportunities that this network can provide. So he's a young professional, so ECOP liaison and membership development lead for IEEE Oceanic Engineering Society, and webmaster and associate editor of the IEEE EarthZine. So with this, please, Rajat, the floor is yours. Over to you.
Thanks. First, make sure that I share the screen properly. Okay. So I'm guessing that you can see the screen now.
Yes, yeah, we
Correct.
can.
And you can see my slides moving also.
Yes, now it's an
Great.
overview.
Yeah, so great. So basically, I am Rajat. I am currently a research fellow at the National University of Singapore. I am also part of IEEE Oceanic Engineering Society. Primarily, I look after the ECOPS activity that happens as part under the umbrella of YP. So young professionals is also a society under the IEEE membership, where you become a part of this young professional fellow. You could be coming from an electrical background, from an oceans research background, from any other background, and you can subscribe to this particular community where you get to exposure to the entire IEEE network, and you have this network where you can like talk to other folks and understand how you can grow your journey as a researcher or as an industry person. So I'm also responsible for the membership of some of the IEEE OES activities. And in addition to that, I am also working for URGENE. So I will talk about this in detail over here. So broadly, what I've done is I've clubbed what we offer and what we also give in addition to like for the YP activities. So for example, one of the successful programs that we have under OES is the YP Boost Laureates program, where basically every year there would be an application where people can apply, we review the application, and then we award fellowship to travel to ocean-related conferences. Primarily, OES does premier oceans conference called Oceans. It's a very easy to remember name. So Oceans is a conference that happens twice a year, once in within US and one outside US, generally in Europe and or in Asia. So if you get this scholarship or this YP Boost fellowship, then you can actually go attend these conferences and be a part of it. The student robotics competition is something that we have been organizing for quite a long time now, and I will come to that in a bit. We also do a lot of science communication where like ECOPS can submit articles. At the same time, they can be also be on the reviewer panel where they can like look at these articles and review them and like help and improve the communicate the research more better. We also do a lot of other activities. I think Laura is here from the Ocean Decade side. And we also support the National Ocean Sciences Ball, which is basically like in a student-driven competition dedicated towards, focused towards the ocean sciences part of it. So dwelling a bit more on what we do as part of the YP Boost Laureates. So every year we basically, generally we select two folks from all the applicants. And what they would do is they would help us organize YP events at these OES conferences. And what you see over here is one of the events that we had as part of the Oceans Chennai last year. And in fact, we have an Oceans in about, I think, 2 weeks' time in Limerick. And over there also, we are organizing a YP lunch where all the ECOPS attending the Oceans conference will get an opportunity to network within themselves, also with the leadership of the society. So for example, the president of the society would be there, other administrative committee members would be there, and they get to interact with these members. So you can interact at both at the level of to understand how the society is going to evolve, and you can also understand and take advice on a career also. So both these opportunities are available through these things. And in addition to that, you get to travel for free to these OES conferences. So that is also a good networking opportunity where you cannot just meet the leadership folks, but also folks from other parts as well. And if you want more details about it, so IEEEOES.org is the main website of OES. And if you do /young professionals, you will be redirected to the page where there are more details about how to apply and the previous laureates for YP Boost. In fact, I was part of the second batch, and I think Laura is here, which is also part of one of the batches for YP Boost. So in addition to the YP Boost, we also do a lot of ECOPS, what we envision as ECOPS training future ECOPS. Basically, these are like young students who are actively involved in exploring a career in robotics, but in oceans, so marine robotics, right? And what we do as part of OES is we help fund these activities and also help organize these activities. So, for example, to give you a reference, SAUVC, the Singapore AAV Challenge, receives close to about 100 entries from all over the world, where we further it down to 30, then to 15, and then and eventually 3 are winners. And these teams, they really compete at a very competitiveness level is quite high. And so what we have also experienced during these events is that basically ECOPS like me would help nurture these ECOPS of like future, and then we also get to network with other ECOPS president during these events. And we basically do primarily there are 2 events which are up and running. So SAVC is in the Asia, mostly organized in Asia, early part of the year. And the EU Robotics is part of the European Robotics League that happens, I think, roughly second part of the year in Las Vegas in Italy. So coming to the science communications part, so what we also take and we handle and manage completely by ECOPS is one of the website that is there. The link is also here. It's called EarthZine. So it's like a publication magazine where fully available online, and a snapshot of it is shown on the right bottom, where you can actually go and like read articles, search articles for different topics that you're looking for, and also use it as a medium to communicate your research. For example, if you publish a paper, and often like the details in this paper are like too theoretical, and you want to like give it a simple to understand version for it, that's, I think, EarthZine would be a good place to go and publish this. And currently it houses about, I think, 3,000 to 4,000 articles. So it's an already very good library size kind of knowledge base for all these activities. And I mean, OES has been quite active in doing outreach, and I think this is my my final slide, where we have participated in a lot of events. For example, we are part of the Ocean Decade, and unfortunately, Hari could not join us today. But Hari is basically leading the ECOPS Asia part, and you can reach him or you can reach me, and I will connect you with Hari. So he's looking at the Ocean Decade activities from an Asia level, and he is in charge for like other fundings that could be tapped on from Ocean Decade part of it as well. We are the official partner for ECOPS program, thanks to the event today. And we also have like, because of our representation at Ocean Decade, what we have also started doing is where we have started. So within OES, we have a lot of technical community subcommittees, which are basically looking at polar, specifically looking at acoustic terms, specifically looking at marine life specifically. So all these technical committees that we have started forming like a webinar. One of them is happening very in a very short interval, like around the oceans, that is happening in 2 weeks' time, where other ECOPS are invited, and they are given an opportunity to present or have a one-to-one discussion, like in a webinar format, and talk about the research. Also, like in general, what is a good topic to further explore, how has the research progressed in this particular domain, and help ECOPS understand more about ocean research in general. So that brings to the end of my presentation. We can move forward if there, or we can, I think we can go for the Q&A also.
Raja, thank you so much. Yeah, I will just put right now the link for this webinar that you mentioned that will be moderated by Hari Vishnu on Monday, this coming Monday. This will be on basics of acoustics in underwater applications.
Right.
And this is yeah, I'm just putting that into the chat for everyone.
So this is one of the webinar series that we're organizing, and it would be a good starting point for somebody to understand the acoustic comms of side of things, how underwater communications can help you get data without the need of diving and collecting data. So, yeah, something of interest to a lot of folks.
Yeah, exactly. And we are hoping that this will be just a start of this cooperation series with you guys. And because we're really lacking those webinars on the technical parts, and on technology, and we would like to welcome more of that into our landscape, into what we are doing. So I think it will be very interesting for many ECOPs around the world. So we are very much excited about that. So yeah, in the chat is the registration link, and it will be on this coming Monday. Right, okay, so I think then I will give the presentation about the ECOP program, and then we can have questions from the audience about any of our presentations. So I will just share my screen. Okay, can you see it okay?
Yes.
We can see.
Thank you. Thanks. Right, okay, so our network is called ECOP program, or it's Program for Recreation Professionals. We are an endorsed UN Ocean Decade program. So as you know, there's this UN Ocean Decade for Sustainable Development, which is happening from 2021 to 2030, and we were endorsed in June 2021. So we are preparing for our second anniversary in a few weeks. Basically, our goal is to support ECOPs around the world in their capacity development and work by providing meaningful networking, training, professional development, funding opportunities, and creating capacity for cooperation and knowledge exchange. So we have seen significant growth since 2021, a lot of new members on our social media accounts and within our database. So we are running this global registry, which currently stands as of today at 1990 members from 107 countries. And we started with about 300 members 2 years ago. So this means that why do we gather this information? This means that these people are receiving newsletter, our newsletter every month with various opportunities like conferences, participation in working groups across the world. Any invitations to participate in working groups, task teams, conference panels, etc. And because we are a network program, so a lot of other endorsed actions and programs reach out to us and ask if we can recommend someone from our ECOP community working on a specific field, on a specific topic, whether we can recommend someone to be a member of a working group, member of a conference panel, etc. So we are expanding geographically, and we now have 5 regional and 26 national nodes, and I will provide a full list of that in a bit. So all of that are already in place or just about to be launched in the coming weeks or months. So this is our structure. We have 4 task teams: social literacy, training and mentoring, diversity, equity and inclusivity, and ocean bridges, and 31 nodes, so regional nodes and national nodes. So we have the regional nodes in Africa, Asia, Caribbean, Central America, and Europe. And then we have big standalone national nodes such as Canada, Brazil, US, And then there are national nodes that fall either within those big regional nodes, such as, many national nodes within Africa, already several nodes in Asia, as well as in Europe or Central America and Caribbean, for example. Then we have 7 endorsed projects. So these are the projects, again, that we received under the Young Ocean Decade. So we already have 7 of them, and they're really very different. So, for example, it spans really from citizen science and sports like surfing, in the project Citizens of Surf, to Floating University. Floating University is a kind of big consortium of floating university projects in Russia. And then there is this professionals program and master's program at VASCAL, Cabo Verde Graduate School, and plastics. So really a wide range of things. Okay, so here is a list of countries and regions that we currently have, and if your country is not on the list, you're very welcome to reach out to us and suggest being a coordinator for this country. So for Asia, there was a question in the chat. So indeed, we have had Japan for a very long time already. So now we are going to launch the national nodes in China, India, and South Korea. And we're also working on Malaysia right now. And then you see also other countries and regions that we'll be announcing soon. So what we have done, again, as all of you fully aware of, capacity development, access to capacity development and trainings is very important for ECOPS. So we kind of decided to focus on this, so it felt just natural. So we sponsored 2 rounds. So NORAD, Norwegian Agency for Development and Cooperation, sponsored 2 rounds of online trainings in spring and autumn last year. So this was for, sorry, it keeps jumping. So it was for, those trainings were for free for ECOPS from Africa and Caribbean countries only. And there was a big success. Those trainings were on ocean governance, marine special planning, those kind of things. Then we started our own webinar series in September last year. So the webinar that Rajat mentioned will be happening next Monday. It will be our 6th episode. And we are very open to any ideas. Again, if any of you thinks that we need to find a topic and talk about a specific topic which you don't find information on anything really, ranging from like science communications and how to start an NGO or whatever, we are very open to any ideas, and your suggestions are very welcome. So we have tackled topics like how to open an NGO, how to start an NGO, blue economy, results of 2022 as the year with hopes for ocean governance change. And then we had a guy talk from from ESRI talking about ArcGIS and its opportunities for ECOPS. So now we'll have acoustics. So we'll be continuing with this series. Then we are cooperating with the Sustainable Ocean Alliance that I'm sure all of you have heard of, or maybe are members of. So we are having with them regional webinars roughly on a monthly basis. So we have had those big joint webinars already for Asia and Central America. So the next one will be for the Caribbean countries in June. Then so on the technical side, we have cooperated with ODGA, Ocean Teacher Global Academy, and they already have had 2 online trainings on ocean color remote sensing and data analysis and data management and analysis with R. And our team is now working on further courses like that, technical courses. So these trainings were focused currently only for ECOPS in Africa, again, because it was the African node coordinator who was doing that. So it was easier kind of to focus on Africa because of the time zones, but we are going to expand it for Asia as well, because there is a huge demand for such trainings from the countries in Asia. Right, so what our next steps and plans are, so we want to really close geographical gaps, especially for those countries in South America and Pacific region and Asia including, so we need to have also coordinators for Russia, because it takes up a huge proportion of Asia, and also many other national nodes that we are missing in every region. So we will develop our funding support, and we aim to have a bank to be able to support travel to conferences, and also support for small and medium scale grant programs. So again, if we think that this can be the idea for this funding initiative, the Future Earth, I think we could also explore that and create some joint grant program or joint kind of bank to sponsor travel for conferences. Yeah, so then our idea is to create a regular updated database for capacity development opportunities and funding and events, so that it all is comprised in one place. So then we are going to continue with our capacity development dimension, again, Ocean Teacher Global Academy and webinar series. And yeah, in general, we need to talk more about the UN Ocean Decade and various opportunities that it has for ECOPS through its various programs and actions, because there is a lot happening, but even, us who are like quite closely connected to the IOC Decade Coordination Unit, we don't get regular updates from what every program is doing, and there's a lot happening. So we kind of want to be really more closely connected to all those programs, and have them speak at our webinars and really explain. Maybe they have some databases freely available on their websites, or some trainings or mentorship schemes, etc. So we think that it will be very beneficial for ECOPS. And I have here a few slides just in terms of our communications and place in the internet. So here's our website. You can subscribe to our monthly newsletter there, and I can post the links in the chat. So here is a great resource. This is the place for the Ocean Decade. It's was previously called Global Stakeholder Forum. Now it's called the Ocean Decade Network. So this is the main place for the UN Ocean Decade. It is obviously managed by the IUC Decade Coordination Unit. It's not our resource, but everybody is very much encouraged to join this network. It's like LinkedIn of the UN Ocean Decade. You create a profile there, and you don't have to be a member of any endorsed action to be a member. But it's a great resource, so you have various information for networking, some conferences. They even start to post some jobs and internships there, even though it's not a lot, but still it's developing. And there are various groups, and there are maps. There is a map where you can find registered members in any country. So if you're looking maybe for a partner in another region or country for your project, it's easy to find these people there. And we have there an open group, early career ocean professionals. So if you go to groups, there is category open groups, and there is early career ocean professionals. So we regularly post, all kind of things and news that we normally post also on Twitter and LinkedIn. But yeah, it's also a great source of information. Yeah, so this is all our social media channels that we have here, and I think that's it. Yeah, so I think we're done with our presentation. So I suggest we can open the floor for any questions to any of the networks that we're presenting. So if you have any questions to Arijit or Rajat or Marina or myself, suggest you can raise a hand, and I will invite you to ask your question, or you can also put your question in the chat. And after that, I think we can move to discussing the funding opportunities. Yeah, so I see the first hand raised, Uchi Dominic. Yeah, sorry if I mispronounce your name. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. All good.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity, for bringing the young professional together under the ECOPS. At least some of us, we had been following on the social media, the main account, and also through the Ocean Decades. And through this, I found many opportunities. I'm currently one of the Sustainable Oceanic Alliance and mentors here in Nigeria. I was just enrolled for some months ago, and also I was trained on the co-designing under Ocean Decades Network. And of recent, I had an opportunity of going to Italy through my application under ECOPS, but that did not come through because I have a visa issue, although I do online presentation. So I've been very grateful. So, and I'm appealing that these opportunities, when they come, when the grant has been given to early careers researcher to participate in the trainings and the conference, there should be every need of supporting these young careers and on visa application through the platform of ECOPS and through United Nations Ocean Decades. Because I had the experience and it was not really easy. I could not attend the training in Italy, the ocean prediction workshop in Italy. So, but I did online, so I'm appealing for this. And moreover, as an early career and as a student as well, I have to go through thorough visa processing, payment of money, and after all, the visa did not come and the conference went on. So I'm appealing for such supports. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to hear that you had so many. It was very helpful, and you had such great opportunities. And I'm sorry to hear that you didn't manage to go to Italy. So yeah, we have heard a lot about these visa issues, and we have communicated this to the IOC. So it was a huge issue during the UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon last year in June, where many people from Asia and from Africa couldn't come because of the visa issue. So we at the ECOP program, we can just really highlight these facts, and we issued a report on the UN Ocean Conference where we highlighted this issue. So we will be highlighting this again, also in view of the upcoming UN Ocean Decade Conference, which will be happening in April next year in Barcelona in Spain. So it will be really a necessity to get support with these, because otherwise, again, the same thing will happen. So as I understand this, there should be a connection and assistance from on the governmental level with the organizers of an event or a conference. And yeah, either like IOC or UNESCO should assist in that to facilitate this. But yeah, it's always on our kind of list of things that we need to pay attention to, or to draw attention of conference organizers and like IOC, UNESCO, towards these problems. So thank you again for highlighting this. Okay, so then I think there were some questions in the chat. Yeah, Pauline was saying that, yeah, the same case she missed Italy, ocean predicting time workshop due to this application. Yeah, that's very, very, very unfortunate, and I hope that things will be really changing. Yeah. So the question from Stefania from Ecuador. Hi, Stefania. I would like to know if there is any possibility to start a node for South America. Yeah, so currently for South America, we only have Brazil. And indeed, we don't have many people, like we don't have many ECOPs in our registry from South America, apart from Brazil and Central American countries. So I think it would be great. It would be great, really, if if you want to have a node for Ecuador, that would be great. I'll just put my email so that we can keep in contact. Thank you. So a question from Temi Top. Are there doctoral opportunities for marine biologists? I have a bachelor's and master's degree. I'm not sure, maybe Marina, if you know from maybe your sources, you have any opportunities like that, or you can, I don't think we have specific ones, maybe you have.
Yeah, so our network is focused on physical and chemical oceanography, but we try to be open towards opportunities we share. So, for example, cruise opportunities and things in that sense, we try to be quite open in our website. So not only physics and chemistry. So you may find job opportunities and things like that in the website, but we don't have something so specific because we mainly try to we are chemistry and physics, but we all work together. So if there is something that may be useful for you over there as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marina. Okay, then there is next question from Nita from India. Nita says she did her major in wildlife science. She'd love to be interdisciplinary. So she's asking what are the technical courses are required to do that. And she believes that technology and ocean environment should go hand in hand. Being a biologist, can I be a part of technical group which is working towards ocean science? Yeah, so any thoughts on that from our panelists?
And this is probably for Raja to take, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it seems like.
Yeah, so I myself is primarily more on the technical side of things, but I have, in fact, as part of my PhD also, I was working with the biologist as my co-supervisor. So just from my experience, I would say that there is a lot of areas where a technical person or technical group can help you towards achieving a ocean science goal. And it, frankly saying, depends on, sorry, I think I missed. Oh. Yeah, I think it finally depends on basically setting the goal. And from there, you can backtrack to what kind of technical expertise you want to develop. And it could be that some of those technical expertise are you may be better off like using something like as a group which is working on that particular domain, and you basically rely on some parts of that technology to be developed over there, where the code or something that you want to customize, something that you can take on and develop it further. So yeah, so basically it starts with like defining that particular ocean science goal that you have in mind, and about the jump from wildlife science to marine sector kind of research. I mean, one of the places that could be of interest, it could be, is some of the things like, for example, you could use acoustics to monitor wildlife as well, but you can also use that monitor a lot of marine mammal or marine activity. And therefore, a lot of this tech which is there, which would be to record, to get the data and then port it to you, would be more of a tech sort of thing. And then ocean science code would be like how you can understand stress calls of these mammals, or how to understand. So there is a lot of scope in the ocean environment to like tap on to these different domains. So I'm guessing, if I understood correctly, you did your bachelor's or major, or I think your bachelor's in this, and you want to jump. So it could be a good bridging would be that you could do a master's in ocean science, and that could be a good front foot into this domain. And while you're doing that, you can actually explore like building some of these technical capabilities along while doing your master's course. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Just one comment, just an example. I think, as you said, there's a lot of scope to work on that sense. So we have members, for example, they are marine biologists, but work, for example, with wind energy, so wind farms, and their job is much associated with keeping biodiversity and things like that, or with marine litter, for example. And so you have the physical part of it, but you also have the biological part of it. So there's a lot of scope, and I guess you have to keep an eye open in a broad sense of view for things that, you know, are not only conservation, because you can find in this industry a lot of opportunities, but definitely combining technology with marine science is a really important thing that has to be done. And this is actually one of the things that we can discuss today. So how can we do that? How can we approach this issue? Because it is something that it is also, for me, quite necessary. So it's one of the things that we can plan today, for example, for the funding and so on. So thank you for your question.
Thank you. And I think Anita has her hand raised, so I think she can comment back. Anita, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. I'm Nitya. So basically, I did my master's in wildlife science. I have did my internships with WII in Yukon work. So I have a quite interest in marine mammals, in marine acoustics actually. So as I see that there's a lack of technical skills I have. So when I actually want to see I want to see everything in a broad perspective. So I thought, like, how do I work in this in taking technology as a something like and work in the ocean field. So I wanted to be an interdisciplinary thing. So that's why I just asked that question. Thank you so much, sir. What are the courses and skills do I require?
So that would be like doing another bachelor's. Yeah, so it really depends on what part of the marine mammal technology you want to take on. So for example, there are like a lot of components. There is also like data analysis of it, acoustic recording of it, there is vision, there is sound, there is like also, for example, as Marina was pointing out, like you want to track the biodiversity. So there are different sounds and different vision data points. So it's a lot of open problem statements over there, and it really depends on what challenge you would want to take on. From working at Acoustic Research Lab, so basically I work at Acoustic Research Lab of NUS. And so what I have seen, so we do have ongoing research in this particular domain, where we are tracking the activities. And what I can say one of the a must skill to have as a person working in this domain would be, first thing I would recommend is having data analysis. That is something that is the need of the hour. It could be that somebody can collect data for you. In fact, like you can use something off the shelf to collect data for you, but you still need some sort of understanding to make sense of the data. So I think the first step would be to maybe take up a course that can help you do data analysis in general. There are a lot of courses for this now, and there is very easy to pick up at whatever level you are, and then you can take up that and then further develop your understanding. If you want to, I mean, may not be very much, again, I would recommend, may not be required for you to start actually developing the hardware. That is something that, yes, you can leave it to professional working, because there are a lot of things that come into once you get into the hardware side of things. So I would say that picking up those the data analysis skill, and maybe using some of the off-the-shelf recorders, or like relying on some of the groups to deliver on that part of the technology, would really help you achieve the task that you were mentioning. Anybody can add on, by the way, because I'm just talking from a technical perspective, but anybody can add on if there are any other skills that should be taken up as part of a technical course. Yeah. I guess data analysis is the skill you have.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you very much. I think it was all some great advice from both of you. Yeah, Marina, do you want to add anything?
No, I was just, thinking, because a lot of my experience with research, people work with memos, were with acoustics, basically. So I work, for example, with gliders, and we tend to use acoustic sensors in gliders for that with that goal as well. So I would say acoustics is also a very interesting training course that you could try. I'm sure we have opportunities for that as well. But that could be another skill. But I agree that programming is the first way to get a little bit more this technical side, and then you can progress towards what you think is more interesting to you.
Thanks a lot. I think because we have only 20 minutes left before the end of the session, we need to kind of start wrapping up with the questions and start brainstorming about the funding opportunity. So maybe we can just very quickly finish with the questions and then start thinking about what we can do about this funding initiative. So just a quick question from Mashriyat from Madagascar. He recently finished his master's in marine science and fisheries, and they have not experienced any modeling in class. He's asking, how can we learn modeling, and does it require deep knowledge in programming? So yeah, maybe again, Rajat or Marina, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. From my experience, modeling definitely requires programming skills. I'm not aware of any modeling specific course. You can certainly think about that, like something specific, something more directed towards non-modelers, non-physical people. I think it's something that can be thought about. But there's definitely, in general, the need to know programming. And it can be a bit cheesy to say that, but there's a lot of sources out there. And it is a skill that you can develop, but it's certainly something that we can think about in terms of training courses for modeling for people that are not from this specific field. I'm not aware of, but it's something that we can think about. I'm trying to look for the questions to see for his questions to see what else he asked, but yes, I think you'd need that skill.
Yeah, and I think also they were asking whether they can go for a PhD in this field without pre-knowledge in the field. Think about, yeah.
Marine sciences.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How can you? Yeah, I think having done a marine course in marine science, a master's in marine science, give you some background to go into modeling to try a PhD. I think for PhD, they do not necessarily require you to have your pre-knowledge on that. But I think you have to show that you have these skills in learning and in maths and physics, that you're interested in that. And then within the PhD, you are going to learn modeling. A lot of people that I know are actually, this person that I commented working for the wind generation, he was actually a marine biologist, and he started his PhD with me, which was based with gliders and physical oceanography, and he had no idea about programming. So he learned on the field, and you just build your skill set once you're in there. Once you're in the PhD program, you have so much opportunities and resources that you can take, that you can learn. So I think you can easily go towards that point without having a proper physical or maths background. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you very much, Marina. Okay, so I'm very much aware of the time, and because I think we really need to brainstorm about the funding initiative, I will try to answer the many questions in the chat myself, and if any of the presenters can also have anything to add, feel free to do so. But I would like to spend the remaining 15 minutes just to see, also with the help of everyone here in this call. So having discussed all of those problems and opportunities that our networks can provide, so how do you think, are there any topics or initiatives that you see we can apply together for this Future Earth funding opportunity? And maybe Arijit, since you are representing Future Earth, maybe you have an idea like what aspects Future Earth would love to fund, because it can be maybe an in-person training that we can apply for this funding, or this can be I don't know, creating a database, or just having this travel fund for ECOPs from our networks together to support them to travel to conference or trainings, or cover, I don't know, participation fees. So do you have any idea of what they would like to see in those applications, if you have any idea of that?
Yeah, I was thinking of quickly just go to responding one of the chat first, and then I can maybe come back, because it is also related to funding, if that is okay with you.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the Filippo from Italy, he is asking the support summer and winter schools related to ocean science and technologies and provide discounts to students. So one way I see that these individual grants from Future Earth could be applied to this kind of thing is probably this event that the school is organizing, there is some selection process, and once the students are selected, these students will be considered as early career, of course, because they are it's student, and then they can apply for this funding. So it would be more like they get individually the money, giving a proof that they have been accepted in an event which is related to Future Earth goals, which is basically the sustainable development SDGs, and of course ocean is one of the SDGs. So so that is straightforward. So this could be the modality. So instead of organizers getting funding to give discounts, they can offer this potential opportunity to the students who can then apply. Just keeping in mind this, there is a 90-day kind of a like a deadline that you have to apply 90 days before the date of the event. That might be a bit of a constraint because sometimes this acceptance may not be always 3 months before the date, but maybe. But okay, so that's one way to look at it. And now coming back to your question, I was actually looking at what kind of funding they are looking for. So this training activity and I mean, they say here that research co-creation and transdisciplinarity. So I think there is a focus on output related to research. And when we discussed this funding issue, because I'm also representing early career researchers at the Governing Council of Future Earth, they did mention that some capacity building projects aimed at enhancing some skills. This could be the kind of question some of the participants are asking, a skill development workshop or those kind of intensive boot camp or something like this on a particular programming skill or something, or science communication, or these kind of thing should also be eligible, although it is not very clearly mentioned. So this I can clarify, but I recall while discussing this funding, this was also because this is something we put as early career representative as something that we need. And they said, yeah, this would be relevant. The only thing where I think they are stressing on, and I think it is also we favor, that there has to be some intersection between different networks. So that is that more than one network is getting benefited. So let's say we are talking, actually, I am no expert on ocean, but based on what I'm hearing, I see what Rajat presented. This technology has a lot of potential application in physical science of ocean or biology. So something which kind of bring together these different aspects could be, I think, a very interesting. It could be a pilot research project. I don't know how much you can do with 50K euro, having no idea about the budget that you need for running your research. But if this is something reasonable, where 2 or more network bring together an idea, want to develop it, some kind of research project, I think that would fit in. Also some kind of skill development program where, but that kind of workshop may not need 50K euro, but depends. I don't know if you are going to provide, how should I say, like financing opportunity for traveling from somewhere in the US and people are coming from India, or it might then need a larger budget to accommodate such a request. So that is also feasible. So I think, yeah, broadly, this is what I had in mind. Does it somehow respond to your question, Evgenia?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, it definitely does. So I really like, for example, the idea on capacity development. So, for example, it could be some course which is like jointly organizing by our three networks, you know, and for example, the Oceanic Engineering Society can provide, you know, part of the course on robotics, or you know, like acoustics, etc. So the engineering kind of things, and then cooperate with the APSO on how these are used for physical oceanography.
For example, yes.
Yeah, and of course, any in-person events, I think would be super expensive, especially if we start going into like providing support for members. But yeah, at least like covering the preparation, the lectures, the presenters, think that's fine. Or if you have it on a regional level, I think you could even support some travel from the for some people. I don't know what the others think.
Yeah, so from what we discussed, definitely what people are, I understand that what people want the most is technical skills, right? Technical skills and the combination of technology with our science. So I can see through different perspectives. I can see that we can, as you suggested, provide training courses. I mean, not just something open like programming, but something very much focused on our needs. So what we as physical oceanographers or marine biologists can need from programming or need from acoustics. So we can definitely develop courses like that, but we can also look at fund people attaining this technical trainings. And I really like the idea of fostering research. It's more research ideas that will combine these two different fields. I think that's really nice. But I also have in mind, I think a lot of people, from what I understand, are also interested in migrating properly between fields, in the sense of from very much research to more technical jobs type of things. So something that I also can imagine is some sort of mentoring program that we can have people from industry, from more technical areas that can mentor these people that want to change. And in this way, I think, you know, they will be better to advise them in which skills they need. So I think we can build something that will create this bridge in finding mentors and mentees, and then they will, you know, individually set what the skills that they need and that they can develop. I think that that's also something that can contribute to this connection, to this bridge.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great idea, and this can go either, you know, as two separate things with the course, for example, or this can be combined where, you know, each participant will get their own mentor. Yeah, depending on their concrete needs. Yeah. Rajat, what do you think from your side?
So I think first would be to make use of the existing resources. First of all, like one of the reason we started this initiative of like having webinars as part of the OES activities is to address some of those opportunities. Like, for example, there is a lot of this information that is within this committee, and through the medium of webinars, it could be distributed to this particular. So I think if we start publicizing these webinars or these technical programs in a more structured manner, I think it would be an incentive also for researchers to come and share information. And it would be also useful to like whoever wants to take this up to take it up and learn. So that said, I think I do understand the idea of like having dedicated courses or having dedicated paths. But on top of what is already out there, it would be I'm not sure how much an additional effort would be required to add on to that knowledge that is already out there. So for example, I do understand like there are like topics like which we are touching, for example, acoustics. Acoustics is not a lot of information about it, and it is primarily because it is used by a very small sector of researchers. Whereas if you see, again, speech is something that is very actively researched. But if you go and say go for after sound or acoustics, it is a really less researched area and less resources available to do. And that's why we started off also with acoustics. So that is definitely, and there. So what I think OES has been doing, and we can also like maybe take something of a similar approach. So what OES has been doing is like we have been like pushing for like this umbrella conference, which is the Oceans Conference, where pretty much all the topics are available for you to attend and network onto. And then there are like dedicated conferences. For example, Underwater Acoustics Con would be a dedicated conference that is happening primarily in Europe. Everybody is now synced to that particular conference cycle so that they can plan in ahead for papers, they can plan in ahead for like to attend it, and they can like so I do align with the idea that Filippo shared. I did not know that Filippo was in Minileg. He's also from YB Boost, by the way. So Filippo, the idea that he was sharing is also something that we can entertain, like having summer schools which are dedicated on specific topics, or summer schools that are dedicated, or winter schools that are dedicated on specific topics, and have a group take it up and then do it over multiple. I think for these things to become a habit, they take some years to really get out there and like do. For example, there is this one conference / workshop / because it is very difficult to put that in one domain. It's called Breaking the Surface. So it is primarily organized in by Croatia, by University of Zagreb in Croatia. And they initially started as part of an EU project. And year on year, they started doing this conference where it was broadly 4 topics, and researchers can come and present, not need to be a paper, but whatever they have done in the past 1 year or the past 2-3 years. And they come and present individually. And the afternoon is all workshops, hands-on workshops. So you go from like one workshop to another on different days, and you get hands-on information of like, oh, so this system can be used in this way by using this particular programming. Or if you don't have programming, you get the opportunity to also talk with the developer at there itself. So you can give them the feedback that, we don't want to like, we don't have much experience about programming, but we would still want to use it. Can you give me a black box? Basically, I give the parameters, and you basically spit out the data that I want. So they can help you fast track that particular. So I think having these, I agree with Arjit and Marina, and I think that's a common theme, that having these boot camps, having this structured events, and maybe investing in for some time so that they become enough prevalent over years. And then I think from there, it basically goes on autopilot, where people start attending it, people start seeing it as an opportunity to come there and get more information for it. So we are like slowly heading towards domain, and we are like funding a bunch of things along that domain. And in fact, I forgot to present about BTS. So BTS, I think, would be in the second half of this year, and will be at the University of Zagreb. And there you can like touch on topics that OES does not directly touch. For example, there is marine archaeology, there is also acoustic communication. There is a bunch of topics that they explore, and you can go and get both the network and information at these meetings.
I see. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, thank you. And I think it makes sense because as we have seen today, this interdisciplinarity is really a huge thing. So if you have an event, you can just indeed, I really like this idea when you have various workshops, so you can just, decide whether, to which topic you can go, and you really get a lot of information in a very short time. That's really very useful. Right, so yeah, I think the time has already elapsed. It was a really very intense conversation, very interesting one. I don't know what's happening with the Google Doc. Have we had any? Okay, so we don't have any specific questions there. But yeah, maybe Arijit, if we could find out somehow through you if there is a chance to see this application form, like what is exactly needed there, so that we can understand how long time it could get us to create something together by the deadline, if it's possible to get this document from Future Earth. Maybe we can find another time to meet up again with those who are interested in working on this proposal, and just really brainstorm and see what exactly we need to provide and shape up the concept. What do you think? With those who are interested in contributing and brainstorming about that with the members of the networks. Yeah, does it sound okay?
Yeah, I mean, what I can offer, I mean, I can, if there is interest, I can also maybe ask someone from Future Earth, actually, because I don't work there. I'm just, I mean, our network is part of Future Earth. So I can ask someone from Future Earth who is managing this funding or knows about it, can be present. So that would be probably more direct administrative kind of queries about the application could be addressed directly. So if there is interest within the network to do something like that, yeah, I can happy to ask someone from Future Earth to come, and normally they're quite receptive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Really. Right. Okay. So there are no. I think the chat was more or less covered and replied. Okay. I think we just missed one question. I think Joseph had a. Did he left? Yeah, Joseph, I think, had a hand raised at some point. Maybe if we can just quickly ask him if his question was not answered, we can hear him right now very quickly.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, hi.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Joseph Soltis. I'm a recent graduate from Coastal Carolina University in the Marine Science program in the US. We were talking about data analysis kind of skills and tools and moving into that area. I was asking, I'm pretty interested in kind of getting more certifications and more learning programs like that through a lot of these open networking areas. I don't see as many like certification availability on a lot of these. So I was kind of wondering what the best path for that is to go and kind of where, at least for data analysis, kind of what the best programs you guys see for someone that doesn't have a lot of money to jump into that stuff. That's kind of more of the free side.
So I guess I'll take that question again. So I do agree that there is a lack of marine science with the data analysis online available tools for it. But I think The approach would be that you can maybe learn data science or data analysis as a tool first. And for that, I think there are a lot of courses available online. And when I say you learn it as a tool, it could be that you have to bear through the process of like dealing with non-marine science data, but that will help you learn the tool itself, like how to use a particular model, how to use a particular language. And a bunch of those tools actually are quite freely available. Now, once let's say you have acquired the skill of data analysis and you could go to a lot of platforms, like for example, like Fast.ai or like these very well-known platforms for learning the data analysis part. So once you're done with this, the next question is acquiring the data, acquiring the marine science data, and that itself can be costly. And so so what I generally propose folks to do that is like you can go look for publicly available data sets. As of now, there are a lot of these data sets available to process different for different applications. For example, if you're interested in acoustics part of it, there are openly available data sets on which you can, like, once you have this acquired skill of data analysis tools over there, you can like take that skill and apply it to the data set that is more relevant to your particular application that you're interested in. And that could help you build your career as a marine scientist as well, where you can look into biodiversity, you can look into like there are as frankly saying, there are numerous applications for it. And in addition to acoustics, you can also go for like, as Marina was mentioning, like you can go like develop some of these frameworks which you can even deploy on the gliders, and they can become your long-term monitoring system to like really help estimate the biodiversity that you have. So there are like a lot of things that you can do, these free training programs may not be directly linked to the marine science program, but it can help you learn the tool. And once you have the tool as a skill, then you can actually use that on the data sets more relevant to your particular use case. And there are, frankly saying, quite a lot of data sets available on Kaggle also, which is a typical site where like people go look for data science problems. So it's available over there, but also like via NOAA or like other well-known platforms, there are open data available which you can use to do some of the data analysis part on marine science data. Does that answer your question? Or
yeah, that's super helpful. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's good.
Can I make a point there? Thank you. Okay, so I am a programmer that learned from free online courses. Basically, all that I learned was in that way. But I understand that in academia, what matters is more the knowledge. And I think what he was asking about was a bit about having certificates, right? Because in these free courses, you rarely get certificates. Normally, I think it's only the paid ones. So as I was saying, in academia, that doesn't matter that much, but I understand, I can see how in industry, having a certificate of the courses is something important. So one thing that we can think of as well is providing some sort of grant or financial support for those certificates, because they can be important for people to get into, you know, industry. That can be a nice way to get in. Yeah, and I agree with him. Some courses, the main ones, that they're very expensive. So if you want the certificate, it's definitely quite difficult to get. So that could be a good idea, you know, provide the funding to attend these really good online trainings. That could be a way to.
Yeah, I think that's super true. I think that's something I was also trying to highlight with that question that I didn't feel like I made clear enough, but funding opportunity for something as small as just like a certificate might bring in more people, because a lot of the times people are turned away by these giant projects that you have to get funding for. And sometimes someone's just looking for something as simply as a certificate.
Yeah.
I'm a marketer on the side, so all of it's pretty much based off certifications you can get from Google or places. They don't really care about education. So that kind of bleeds into my marine science background as well. So I think that's something that's really important. It could be highlighted more in our community.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you.
Okay, so Joanna raised her hand, but this is the last question because we're already over time. Yeah, Joanna, go ahead, please.
No, sorry. Just wanted to comment on the question that I was asked. There is a program that is called Ocean Teacher Global Academy that is done by UNESCO IODE, and there you can find courses and the certificate are free as well. So in that way, maybe sometimes the conditions that restrict a bit of how you can enroll is because you have to have an organization, you have to belong to an organization or university. So sometimes that is hard to find, especially if you are just finishing your master or your PhD. So I think in that sense, since the platform is already there, I think it could be good from the ECOP program to promote that special courses for ECOPs, that may not have this organization, sure. But since they already have the materials and the certificate, they have an ISO certificate. So these are very good for your profile and your CV, and think that's what most of us are looking for. I will leave the link in the chat if anyone is interested.
Yeah, I have already posted the link. Thank you so much. Yeah, this resource
That's
is
interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna comment that it's very interesting that they require you to have a university to have some to be able to join. I imagine something that can potentially be discussed as well is us as the network being their supporters, not just university, but the network itself being used as a way to join these forces. That could be something that we could try to achieve as well. So
Yes,
instead of
it
being
is.
connected to the university, you would be connected to the network.
Right, okay. Well, thank you so much for this session. I think it was really very useful, and thank you for all the questions and really very informative and useful answers. So I think what we can do next is, once Arijit has talked to some people at Future Earth who is managing those funding initiatives, we can then see if we can set up a call with someone to answer our specific questions, or maybe we can have a look at the specific requirements for the application, and then we can think we can derive all your emails from the Zoom call. And if anyone is interested in developing this concept further as members of this network, of our networks, then we can convene again and shape it further before the deadline. Right? I think that sounds like a plan. Great. Right. Well, then, okay. I think we can wrap up for the day. If there are no final further comments. So yeah, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed the session today, and thanks everyone. And thank you very much for all the presenters and all the participants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's nice.
Thanks. Bye-bye.